If you've been around here over the last year, you've likely heard us talk a lot about podcasts, and that's because they're a fun new way to tell farmers' stories.
I think they're Karl Wiggers' favorite word. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're doing. So please excuse me for just a moment, Kristen.
Okay.
I'm going to walk off set because this is what we do every week whenever we finish up shooting This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. We come to our second studio, this one right here, which has nice soundproofed walls and wonderful microphones. And this is where we sort of do what we do anyway. And when I say we, I'm talking about me, Kristen Oakes-White, Karl Wiggers, and Neil Melanson. After we're done shooting the show, we used to just sit around and talk about our stories, and all the stuff that we couldn't put on the air, we talked about it over in another room or just sitting in the edit room. So we thought, why not record it and make that the TWILA Aftershow? Now, that's not the only podcast we're doing. We just started off a new podcast specifically for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, and that is Grassroots Government. That's where me, Karl Wiggers, LFBF Legislative Specialist Joe Mapes, and Andy Brown, our National Affairs Coordinator, get together in this same room and talk about all the issues that affect you over at the state capitol and on Capitol Hill. So here's a little sample of our first episode.
The most important thing on the list is the fact that we have 53 new legislators out of 144. And a lot of people, groups, institutions, whatever, associations feel that that's a challenge. Some people are overwhelmed by something, a number that large, all these new personalities, We see it as an opportunity because, again, we're back to education. We all know what tabula rasa means. Blank slate. These men and women come to town. Some of them have nothing but a tomato plant in their district.
So that's what you can expect every week during the legislative session. Now, finally, as promised, we have a new episode of the Louisiana Farm Life podcast, this time with Mushroom Maggie. Jennifer Finley came in this studio, and they had a really in-depth conversation about what makes Maggie do what she does, and also how she got started in growing mushrooms in the first place.
We knew we wanted to do something different. We knew we wanted to do something indoors. We could do it all year long.
Something that didn't step on the toes of those around you, which is cool.
Right. I mean, we went and toured farms to see what people were doing, what they were working on, and everybody that was doing like microgreens and all that, they were doing it well. I mean, and then we just realized that the mushroom thing was it. And we just locked in there and just ran with it.
To me, I cannot believe the information that is available, not only with your neighbors, but online these days.
Oh, yes. Everything that we initially learned, we learned online. The rest we learned from experience. We didn't pick this because we were obsessed with it. We became obsessed with it after we picked it.
Cool.
But it was just one of those niches, one of the voids that needed to be filled, and just to bring a whole different knowledge to the community that don't even know about it, And so it was kind of just a calling at that point.
If you haven't already, go ahead and go to wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, or you can just go to our website, twilatv.org, and you'll find links there. And make sure to listen to all of them, especially that latest Louisiana Farm Life. It is really interesting. And so, Kristen, since we're talking so much about podcasts, I'm going to go ahead and get things set up in here. You go ahead and finish up the show without me.